to the girl, I said, mommy, I don't need a partner. You dancing in my money. I don't need you to dance with me. I'm not doing this with you. You just see me blank on the in front of you. You're not gonna want to keep throwing money after that. That's weird. Hello to all of my cherry bombs. It is me, Cherry, and I'm back with another video, and I'm here just to be super transparent and spill some tea about the taboo world scene of dancing, especially up here in New York, because I just noticed that a lot of people are talking about dancing, but I never see them talk about New York. I don't know what it is about New York, but I never see dancers talk about dancing here. Always other places, always other states. So we're going to talk about that today. So if you're new to my channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up so that more people can find my content, and then also turn on your notifications because I am very sporadic and all my social media info will be linked down below. I'm pretty active on everything and I respond back to you all's DMs when you DM me. And I also finally know how to use TikTok, you guys, and I'm actually pretty active on TikTok, so follow me on there as well. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. All that will be linked down below, and let's get right into this video. So of course we have Remy trying to be the star of the show per usual. Remy, you always, y'all, this cat been under my bed all night, and of course the minute I start recording she is right here in my face. I'm gonna show you guys Remy because y'all like to see Remy. This is my fat cat. Look at the camera, Remy. She won't look at the camera right now because she want to be up under me. Remy. My rims. My cute fat cat. You going back on the floor though because you gonna make too much noise up here. We're gonna get right into this, and then I also have some story times within some of these things I'm about to say. You'll probably hear Remy purring, and I'm playing with her paws right now because she's trying to be in my face. And if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote notes because I have a lot of things that I want to cover during this video. So before we get into this video, I want to give you guys some background as far as like my, I guess you would say, history when it comes to dancing. And I also do want to say that I'm not making this video to encourage anybody to get into the lifestyle, but I'm also not demonizing the lifestyle either. I feel like if it's for you, it's for you, and if it's not, it's not. And I just noticed that a lot of these TikTok girlies especially are glorifying the hell out of the lifestyle, and they never tell you the downsides. They only show you the good. And I just want to be very transparent in this video because a lot of people have the game effed up. So why I personally started dancing, which I realized I never told you guys before. I just kind of like hopped into it and was like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And I never even told you guys the backstory as to like how I even got started. So long story short, I was living with the ex and we had broken up, and I didn't have enough money to break the lease. I was making really not ish down in North Carolina, and I needed something quick to where I could make enough money to get out of that situation as quick as possible. Now what I will say is, in terms of me dancing in North Carolina versus me dancing up here, and I'm sure if you guys have been following me for a minute you can kind of tell, I was not making good money at all dancing down south. It was a struggle, it was a hassle, and it was pretty shitty. I fortunately up here in New York have been making the most money that I've ever made doing anything, like literally ever. And it's a completely different environment, and it still has its cons that come with its pros, but financially it's just a lot different. And I started dancing again in New York because I was at a job that was in my field, but I just wasn't making enough money to consider it to be livable in New York City. It's very expensive up here, and that's how I got back into dancing. But I started in 2018. I would literally dance, I would go in at random, and it was very like, y'all think how I am on here is sporadic. Me dancing when I first started was very sporadic. I would go in, I would dance for a night, and you would not see me again for another 6 to 12 months. I was not consistently dancing down south at all. So this time around is the first time that I've been actually consistently dancing. And I have been doing that now for about 4 or 5 months. So this is not my end goal. I'm not trying to stay in this forever. I do not encourage anybody to think that they're going to dance long term, but for now, during my transitional phase, this is where we're at, and I'm not ashamed of that, period. It is what it is. This is where we're at. This is what's making me more than enough money to have a more than comfortable lifestyle right now, and this is what's helping me save to get out of this transitional phase that I'm in. So that's just some backstory about why I'm dancing, how I got to start dancing. So as for dancing in New York specifically, bitch, where do I want to start? Oh my god. So I feel like New York, unlike the South, and I'm going to say I would attribute this specific thing that I'm going to say to the fact that down south, if you fight in the club, I'm not encouraging fighting. I'm not trying to say, I don't want y'all to be out here swinging, okay? Bitches is retiring. We're too cute for that. But I will say that when you dance down south, if you are to fight in the club, you pay a fine. And as soon as that fine is paid, you are right back in the club. So I feel like down south, dancers are quicker to fight over things that they see as disrespectful, and I feel like because that is the case, a lot of dancers down south, I feel like, move with more respect than they do up here. There's more etiquette. There's more like the unspoken rules of the dance community, I feel like, are followed a lot more down south. Up here, especially because with like trying to find good clubs in New York, you would think is easy, but it's actually pretty hard. And up here, if you fight, you are kicked out of the club permanently. You're not coming back. You're not working in there again. So the girls up here are a lot less willing to fight, but I feel like they also are a lot more willing to be disrespectful because they know that a lot of the girls up here will not start swinging on their ass. That's all I'm saying. I'm not condoning it. I'm not endorsing it. But it's a couple bitches that need, they just need just one good time, just once, and then they would know how to act. But anyway, that's not a thing up here. So because that is not a thing up here, I just feel like there's just no dancer etiquette, you guys. Because when I tell y'all some of these stories, you're gonna be like, oh heck no, that would never have flown anywhere but here. And if you dance in New York, then all I'm gonna say is, if you know, you know. So I'm not gonna name any of the names of these clubs as I'm telling you guys stories and as I'm talking about all of this, just because this video is not meant to be messy, and it's also not meant to burn any bridges, because baby, I'll be up here making my money. We're not about to hit that up. So what I can say is, if you work in the clubs in Queens in New York, because that, for some reason, like all the strip clubs are in Queens up here. There's maybe like one in Brooklyn and one in the Bronx, but everything is in Queens, or it's in the city. Queens is the more urban and Spanish clubs, and the city is more like your gentlemen's clubs, your like cabarets. Like it's more upscale, but you can make a lot of money in both. But what I will say, so when I have danced in Queens before, what I've noticed is, depending on the club, actually I'm going to speak on one club specifically, and again, this is just a if you know, you know. There is a club in Queens that is, y'all, they be capping on IG so bad, because it's just not like that. I made a lot of money in that club, but the environment of that club is just like, it's a lot of roaching that goes on. It's a lot of, like, the rest of the club will not be going up like that, and there'll be like a couple sections going up, and so they'll make sure they put the couple sections that are going up on IG, but you won't see the rest of the club. If you see the rest of the club, it'll be zoomed in so close that you think it's going up when it's not really going up. But honestly, that's all clubs, so I can't say it's just this one in particular, but they be capped. So but what I can say about this club is, in particular, is them girls be roaching. And when I say roaching, I mean it's literally like when the money hits the floor and you just see girls going like this on their knees, just going like this. I'm gonna call this club VV's just for the sake of this video. That's what I'm gonna call it. So y'all, it's just a lot of roaching. The energy is really off. The bitches are weird, and I've never worked at a club where I felt like every time I went into work, I had to wear fight clothes to work. Honestly, like, just in case. Like, when I say baseball cap, bringing a hoodie that had the drawstring so nobody can grab my hair, just very much so. And granted, I never had an altercation at this club, like a physical one. I had plenty of verbal ones, but just the nature of this club, it's just ratchet, bro. Just ratchet as heck. So anyway, this specific club, the girls do a lot of roaching, and they will literally, like, when I say roaching, I mean like to the point where, and roaching is basically when girls are like scooping money off the floor like this, but they're like on their knees doing it. They do a lot of that, and they don't just, like, I feel like it's understood within the dancer community that if you are picking up your money, you're picking up your money. You're not picking up money that was thrown on girls beside you or around you. You're picking up what was thrown onto you, what is yours. Now, when it becomes roaching is when you are literally trying to get anything around you, regardless of who it was meant for. And I just feel like it doesn't look good to customers. It does not look good to customers. It's really ghetto. It just looks bad. And these girls at this particular club will do that and literally will reach, I have seen them reach between another dancer's legs and roach her money from right in between her legs. I'm like, bitch. I'll be looking like, now I know you fucking lying. I know you lying. I know they ain't just do, and they got away with, bitch, ain't no way. Cause then, I'm just saying, in the South, it never, bro, never. They roach from in between other girls' legs at this club. It's just really weird. Like, there was an instance, this was, I think it was like my first or second night at this club. I went with the girl that, not the girl from my Miami story, but I have another friend that I dance with up here, and I went with her to this club. We had these guys come out, they're showing us mad love, they're throwing us mad money, whoop de whoop. So my friend is dancing and she's like doing like some floor work. Y'all, why does this random girl come up beside my friend? And mind you, it is also understood, and when I say dancer etiquette throughout this video, you guys are gonna kind of get the gist of like what you do and don't do in the club. You do not step in another dancer's money and proceed to start trying to make money within her money and then assume that y'all gonna split the bag. You don't do that. You don't step in their money, period. Like, I can see if the whole floor is covered and the only way to get through is to step through her money, but you're not supposed to be stepping in other people's money, like, if you don't absolutely have to. And you definitely don't try to, like, if a customer is already showing somebody love, you don't go and then try to get in on that bag before she's finished. Like, if they're still throwing money on that specific girl, you don't go beside the girl and try to start dancing with her. You don't go up and like go behind the customer or whatever and try to start dancing on them and take attention off the girl. It's just understood you don't do that. It's weird. That's really weird. So my friend is dancing, she's doing floor work, the guy is on the couch over her, just boom 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 boom, throwing her money and it's landing on her. This random girl comes up beside her, gets on the floor with her, beside her, in her money, and starts trying to dance with her on the floor. We looking like, you cannot be that disrespectful. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. And I feel like the girls up here are so comfortable doing stuff like that because they know that it is so hard to get into a good club up here. And again, if you fight in any of these clubs up here, you're done. You are done. It might be maybe one or two where you could get away with that, but for the most part, if you fight in the clubs in New York, you're done. It's done. So she does that. My friend has to check her. Boom, boop, boop. This night, literally, it was like 3 different instances within this one night. Actually 4. So that one goes out of the way. There's another instance. Again, my friend is dancing for this same guy. This other girl comes up. Okay, so the guy is standing up. So there's, you know, the couch is behind him. So he's not sitting on the couch, so there's room. He's standing up, he's throwing money on my friend. Boo, boo, boo. His friend's throwing money on me. I see this other girl come up, lay her money bag on the couch, climb up on the couch behind the guy and my friend, and proceed to start trying to dance in the section that we're in. I'm like, yo, I'm like, these bitches cannot be serious. They can't be serious. They must come from another planet, because there's no way. There's no way. They're out of touch. They cannot be from this planet. They can't. They cannot be. They cannot. It cannot exist. There's no way. I'm like, I know. She ain't just do that. So, she does that again. She gets checked. I'm dancing, and this guy is throwing me mad bread. Why does a different girl, these are all different girls, another girl comes up and starts dancing like hella close to where I am, so my money is still on the floor. She is dancing damn near almost with one foot standing in my pile. So I'm like, okay, let me scoop mine to the side so that she doesn't start to think this is hers, and so that hers, like, if she gets money from somebody else, because it ain't gonna be from this man that's throwing money on me, I promise you that. It's not gonna be from him. So if she gets money from anybody else, our money does not get mixed up. I start scooting my money over. She gonna say, because mind you, because exactly what I was preparing for to happen happened. Another different guy starts coming up, and he is about to start throwing money on her, or has already started throwing money on her. And it's getting mixed up with my shit. So I scoop all my shit to the side. She gonna say, mama, don't do that. I said, do what? Do what? Pick up my motherfucking shit? That you just came over here? Y'all, I'm sorry, I just got real country with it. Oh, when I say I cussed this girl out, because I'm like, bro, I know you did not just come over here and stand your funky, goofy ass in my shit. And then when I scoop my shit over, you talking about, don't do that. Because now somebody else has started throwing money on you, and now your shit is starting to get mixed up with mine. First off, ain't no don't do that, because you should have never stood your stupid ass over there. Like, it just don't be clicking. And the thirst in this particular club be so real that it's always something like that. Ugh, like the energy. Like, even in this same club, there was this one hating ass bitch. And there was this particular night where me and another girl that I knew from a different club, we were partnered up for the night. We're dancing, whatever, cool. And we made it into this section. They were throwing a lot of money, because period, face card does not decline. But I guess this girl was feeling some type of way about that. So we're all dancing, and the way this section is very confined. It's like, the section itself is a big section, but the way that they have tables set up within the section, and then just like trying to dance in some of these sections is like, you're not gonna be able to do a whole lot. You can't really move like that. So me and the girl that I'm dancing with, we're in the section dancing or whatever. The guys are throwing money. All of a sudden, on the back of my head, I hear this girl say, dang, you would think the way that she dancing on me, you would think I got the money. Mind you, I'm not touching this girl. And I knew she was talking about me because she's directly behind me. So I turn around and I'm like, girl, I'm not even touching you. She like, yeah, da, da, da. I'm like, girl, I'm dead not even touching you. Like, you wilding right now. You doing the most. For what? So she trying to go back and forth with me. I'm like, bitch, you're mad because we're in this section, we're making money, woo-de-woo. And I turn around because I'm like, I'm not finna argue with you. I'm dead not finna argue with you, especially not in front of no client, in front of no customer. That's weird, that's ghetto. So I turn around, whatever, and she's salty. She tried to get me and the other girl kicked out of the section 3 times. 3 times. And the guys in the section was fucking with us so heavy that it's like, girl, you're playing yourself trying to play me. Because I promise you, they're not kicking me out of this section. They're going to choose me every time. Ma'am. And that's just, y'all know I be really humble on this channel, but sometimes I really got to talk my shit. Because people will really try you. And that's exactly what happened. Every time she would try to get us kicked out of the section, they'd be like, no, we want them. Every single time, y'all. We want them. They're good. They can stay. We chose them. They're good. They can stay. We want them in here. Yeah, little baby. The fuck? Stupid bitch. Anyway, the energy in VV's mad weird all the time. Weird as hell. The other weird thing about dancing in New York, and specifically at VV's, I haven't seen this done at other clubs in New York. This was just at VV's. Dancing at VV's, the bottle girls had dance bags. And I'm like, where they do that? Why do y'all have dance bags? If you want to be a stripper, just say that. The what? It was mad weird. Like, the first time I ever danced there, I'm like, why do the dancers have dance bags. And it was confusing because y'all already know that New York bottle girls and bartenders wear outfits that look like they could be dancer outfits. Like, they be honestly dressed like us. So it is hard to differentiate until you kind of like know the layout of that club, and then also until you see the other ones that are matching the one or two you might have already seen, because otherwise you're gonna think they're a dancer too. So they're allowed to have dance bags at this club. They're allowed to pick up money at this club. It's really weird, causes a lot of issues. Really weird.
I can't believe I forgot to put this in the video, and I'm so sorry, because it's actually a major difference between dancing in New York versus dancing other places. I don't know how I forgot to put this in the video, but basically when you dance in New York, you also have to be prepared for the fact that if you go to the more urban clubs, like the ones out in Queens, not the ones in the city, which is what they call everything is New York City, but they call Manhattan the city, and then all the boroughs are like just go by whatever their name is. So when you dance in Queens versus dancing in the city, a lot of the clubs, like the ones that people like to do all the flashy stuff at and etc., or a lot of the urban clubs in general, the stages, unlike when you go to the South, the bartenders are completely separate from the stage. So there's no mix up, there's no possible way that it could be like this is bartender money or this is dancer money, because literally when you go down south, the stage is a completely separate entity from the bar. When you dance up north, a lot of the places in the more urban clubs, the stage is in the middle of the bar. We call those up here bottle girl clubs or bartender clubs, because essentially what happens is when they start throwing money, they throw all the money on the bartenders. Anything that hits the floor is the bartenders, and anything that hits the stage is yours. But when guys are doing, like when they're dropping money or doing whatever they're doing, they're not thinking that. So they're just throwing it wherever, and a lot of the time, a lot of it ends up hitting the floor. It does not even make it to the stage, and the bartenders end up getting all of that money. Also, because they are bartender clubs, quote unquote, there are a lot of like popular bartenders where guys will come in just to specifically throw money on those bartenders. They're not even coming in for the dancers. They're coming in to throw money on those bartenders. So I personally don't like dancing at bartender clubs, because that is what they are. They're bottle girl clubs, bartender clubs. That's where all the money goes, and that's where they throw out, like they'll take out big amounts, but they'll throw it all on the bartenders. So you essentially just end up, you're in the middle of the bar just looking goofy because you're not making no money. So or you're making money but you're not making as much as the bartenders. Like I've danced at a club before in, like, I guess it's like in Brooklyn / Queens. It's kind of in the middle, I don't know, but it's a more urban club. It's very popular and a lot of people come through there as well. I personally don't like dancing at that club because online they make it seem like you would think it's going to be a big club. It is extremely tiny. It's very small. And what they do again is there's literally no room to dance around the bar, even when you're not on stage. It's a very small club. I don't know why on God's green earth they built it that fucking small. But so there's no room to really dance in that club, period. But when you're on the stage, again, these guys are coming in and they want to throw money on the bottle girls, the bartender. Well, they don't even have bottle girls in that club because they don't have sections because it's so fucking small. They just have bartenders. But they want to throw money on the bartenders, so they'll come in and they might throw, $300 or $400 at a time on a bartender. And when you're on stage, they're not throwing that on you. They're just dropping it on the floor, dropping it directly on the bartender. Then when you're on the other side of the stage, they again are like, the way that it is, the bar is like, the bar chairs are lined up all around the bar, of course, but they're all facing inward. So they're facing the bar and the stage. And then the rest of that club is like, you're dancing on the other side. If that makes sense, like you're dancing on the other side between the wall and then the bar, but the customers are facing the bar. Club, rectangular club, and the chairs are facing the bar. So if you're not on stage, essentially the clientele is not facing you. In that area where you're not on stage, there's not a lot of room to dance in that area. So they throw a lot of it in the bar. And I personally don't like dancing at that club. And you need a partner at that club because you will not make as much money if you try to do solo. Even though the club is very small, it's not one of those small hole in the walls where you can kind of do it yourself. You kind of got to tag team those clients. But that's one thing you have to consider when you dance up here, is a lot of the clubs have the bar surrounding the stage, and so your money essentially is getting thrown to the bartenders.
Also, with dancing in New York, I'm going to say this. I've already said this multiple times on my channel, and y'all know that this is a thing, especially if you dance up here. It is very hard as a Black dancer to find a club up here because a lot of the clubs are, and y'all know that I would normally say Hispanic or Latinx, but for the sake of the video and because the slang that's used up here, they call them Spanish. So I'm just gonna say that for the sake of this video. I say that all the time. A lot of the clubs up here are very much so Spanish centered. That's what they like, that's who they hire. And so as a Black dancer, it is hard to find a club up here that will F with you, but then also that the clientele will F with you too, because I can say like I do really good up here, but I also understand that depending on the setting, I get mistaken a lot up here for being Panamanian or being Dominican. And even though I'm quick to correct people and I'll tell people like, baby, I'm Black. I'm very happy to be, very proud to be Black. I'm Black. I do know that because my phenotype sometimes allows me a little wiggle room, I do feel like my experience as far as getting hired at clubs up here is a little different from somebody who is, and I'm not saying I'm not phenotypically Black presenting, because I am, but I'm just saying that I think my experience is different from somebody who is even more phenotypically Black presenting than me. I would say 100% is different. And I also feel like because I do get comments often asking me, what is my background, where am I from? I do feel like, if I'm being completely honest, that a lot of the money that I do make could be attributed to the fact that people do not think that I'm Black. It's fucked up, but it's true. Even after I tell them, it's more of like a, oh, well, you're one of the pretty Black girls type thing. It's racist. The club is, most of the club scene is racist, and that's just me being completely honest. It is what it is. The most disrespect I ever got from clients in the club was always from Black men. Always, always, always. Very much so give all their money to anything that does not look like them. And if you look like them, they don't want to give you shit. Or they'll say disrespectful stuff about the fact that they want a Spanish girl, they don't want Black girls, da 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 da. It's literally no in between. Like when you get the Caribbean or African men, they are very much so, where the Black dancers at, we want to get their money, that's what we want. But when you get the African American men in the club, especially up here and especially in this specific club, racist. Or let me not even say racist, self-hating. Very much so giving you hate what you see when you look in the mirror. Very weird, just very weird, very, very weird. And people are not gonna like what I'm about to say with this too, but I'm gonna say this just being honest about things that I've seen in the club. The same non-Black dancers they put on a pedestal, and they feel like, oh, they're, you know, they're better than, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Black woman, I'm just saying this because I've seen it. I be in these clubs, I see what happens in these clubs. So this is unbiased when I say this. A lot of these girls they put on these pedestals be coming from countries where it is not outside of the norm to give a blowjob for $50. I'm not trying to be funny, I'm dead ass. So when they come over here and they're dancing over here, they're going off of what is the norm from where they're from, so they still be doing that. So part of the reason niggas like them so much is because that. But back to me saying that a lot of the clubs are very heavily Spanish. Up in New York, I feel like trying to find a club to dance at as a slimmer girl. I will say New York, they do like a lot of BBL bodies, and I mean that's all over just because dancing, and if y'all have seen my Miami video, I kind of explain this as well. There is a fantasy that guys want. It's not particularly women they would necessarily, and I'm not saying they wouldn't date these women, but I'm saying like when it comes to the way they look, they don't want the girls that look like people they would date in real life. They kind of want fantasy looking women. Which I feel like a lot of the girls up here who are more my size and smaller are scared to go into these clubs with the more BBL girls because they think that, oh, I'm not gonna make money because everybody's gonna want to give the money to the girls with the bodies done. And I will say that personally, even though I said in my Miami video that was the case down south, up here I don't feel like it is as hindering as it is down south. I originally started at my home club up here was a Spanish club in Queens. I still love that club. I bounce in and out because I personally haven't had issues making money in that club. Or let me not say I still love that club. I enjoy the staff and the vibe of that club. I actually hate that club's clientele. I make money off that club's clientele, but that club's clientele is very much so like, they just it's just always very fetishy, like, oh, you look like you one of the Dominican girls, you one of the Dominican girls, like we want to give you money. They love and adore Spanish girls at that club, and a lot of them, again, it's like, I don't know, just knowing that that's why you're giving me bread, I don't like that. But anyway, the club that I started off at in Queens, heavily Spanish, a lot of the girls have BBLs, but I made a lot of money in that club, and there were a lot of girls that are smaller like me that also have made a lot of money in that club because of the fact that because that club has a lot of, like, everybody for the majority has their bodies done. A lot of the clientele, when you come in and you don't have your body done, it actually works to your advantage because like, oh my god, you're natural. There aren't a lot of natural girls in here. And then it also worked to my advantage too that I speak English, and a lot of the girls in there don't speak English, or they lie and say that they don't speak English. That is also where I would make a lot of my bread because I could talk to the customers. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, I can't tell you how many times in that particular club guys have been like, oh my god, you speak English, oh my god, and they're hype as hell after they realize that I speak English. So I will say up here you can make a lot more money even if you're slim when you dance in New York. Also, another thing to keep in mind when it comes to dancing, especially up here, is when you, okay, so like when you don't live in New York, you're always shown certain types of clubs. When it comes to New York strip clubs, you're shown, and this is the only one I will name drop because I have not personally danced at this club. I just know that this is a club that's very well known, and a lot of people from out of town know of this club because it's the one where all the rappers and everybody goes to. So there's a club called Starlets. Starlets is in Queens, and Starlets is like a very, they like to do like money shows. It's very like put on a show, throw a lot of money, throw a ton of money. So when rappers, athletes, like anything like that, just scammers, dealers, anybody, when they come into Starlets, that's the type of club they will, you know, take out 50K and they'll throw the whole 50. You have to know your club. If you are in a gentleman's club, it does not mean that you can't make you know, the same 10, 15K, but it's not going to be as flashy. It's not. It's going to be off private rooms, or they're going to give it to you in bigger bills, which means they're not going to do the whole money shower. They're going to hand you hundreds. When you go to gentlemen's clubs, it's just not as catty. Like, the girls tend to be a lot more chill. Like, overall, it's just a lot more chill vibes. Like, the club I work at now is just, it's chill. Like, I don't go in there and I have to feel like, oh my god, I got lucky. And the money's good. The other thing that I will say about dancing in New York, certain people are not going to like what I'm about to say. Honestly, I could give a damn. Argue with your mama. New York, I have literally heard guys say they like the bottle girls, and this is no hate to the bottle girls, because again, they ain't got nothing to do with me. The bottle girls, bartenders, I understand there's been clashes and beefs in New York, but if I were speaking from my experience personally, I have not lost any money to a bottle girl or a bartender. And I'm not saying that the people that have before, I'm not saying it was their fault. I'm just saying I have not had that experience. Hopefully I won't have that experience, but I have not had that experience. But I have noticed though, and I have also heard men say this in the club, is the reason they like the bottle girls or the bartenders over the dancers is because you can get them to fuck. And it is a lot harder to get the dancers to have sex with you. And I will say that even though there is a misconception that the dancers be the ones giving it up, the bartenders and the bottle girls be giving it up. That's what I'm gonna say about that. And if you feel some type of way, you're just gonna have to feel some type of way. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but I've seen it, and I know the clientele realizes it because they speak on it too. Again, this was at the club that I said was a Spanish club. I'm gonna call them, I don't know, I guess I'll call them Vanessa's or something because I don't know what else to call them. As far as the dancers etiquette, the girls in there, and honestly this is only the Spanish girls that would do this, I feel like the biggest difference is a lot of the Spanish girls up here, they're the main ones that don't have the dancer etiquette, because I don't experience really a lot of this when it comes to any other race of girls up here but them. They would literally in Vanessa's would come up, you can be talking to a client, they'll come up, grab the client's face and try to turn the client's face from you towards them so they can start talking to the client. When I say I had to check the fuck out of that shit, and once they realize you're not pussy, they won't do it anymore, but if they feel like they can try you, they're gonna try it. So at this club that I was working at, after the first time or two that I had an issue with them doing any type of like weird shit, I didn't experience it anymore after that, because again, people just want to see if you're gonna punk out or if you're gonna stand up for yourself. So once they realized I wasn't gonna be a punk about it, then I didn't experience this stuff anymore. But yeah, they would come up and try to do that, or they'll be paired up. So say like, because me, I don't normally work with partners. Sometimes I will, depending on the night, but I don't like to work with partners. I like to work alone. So they are paired up a lot of the time. No matter how small the amount of money, they like to pair up. And they will come over and say like, you're talking to a client, but there's two of them. They'll come over and start trying to like, just trying to double team you to get the client away from you. And again, you got to show them you're not pussy, because if you punk out and you let that shit work, trust and believe they're gonna do that to you all the time. So I've had that happen in the club or whatever, had to check that. The other thing that had happened in this same club, the Spanish, well, at Vanessa's, was there was this one night, I'm dancing, whatever. The club gets pretty busy in there. I'm dancing one night. There are these two black women, and they have, I don't know what they did, but they must have did something, because mind you, they didn't even come with no guy, no nothing. They had stacks of money in front of them. So I'm dancing on stage, one of them showing me love or whatever. She tells me to come over. So I come over and she's throwing me money, Why does this Spanish girl come up? Mind you, any other time, y'all don't fuck with me any other time. You don't be my face any other time. This Spanish girl comes up to me and starts trying to basically like rub her butt on me and dance beside me. And I'm like, I had to tell her, I said, mommy, I don't need a partner. I don't need a partner. And the black lady had already said, this is for you. So I'm like, I don't need a partner. And I kept having to tell her because she kept on trying to dance on me. I literally had to stop dancing. And mind you, this does not look good in front of clients. And some clients will stop throwing money after they see you have an altercation, because it's not cute. It's not cute. And that's what happened with this client. I had to stop dancing. I turned to the girl, I said, mommy, I don't need a partner. You dancing in my money. I don't need you to dance with me. I'm not doing this with you. So she over here basically like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Get the fuck out of my money and get away from me. Get away from me. Stop touching me. Get away from me. I don't know you. They be on that weird shit. I don't know you. We're not partners. Don't do that. You don't fuck with me no other time in here. Stop. And once I did that, I blinked on her. The lady threw me a little bit more money. But then after that, you know, it's like you see confrontation. It's awkward. There's no way to not be awkward after that. So it was awkward. So eventually, you know, the lady, she threw me some more money. But then she like, you know, kind of turned around and started doing her own thing again. Because it's fucking awkward. The fuck? You just see me blank on a bitch in front of you, you're not gonna want to keep throwing money after that? That's weird. So I will say, honestly, that's the biggest thing I feel about New York is, yeah, there's no etiquette. New York, dancing in New York, these bitches be weird when it comes to like, there's just no etiquette, bro. Like, they just don't be giving a fuck. And again, I'm not condoning fighting, but I feel like they don't be giving a fuck because nobody beat their ass yet. Because I feel like if they went and danced down south, they would not move like that. And I know that a lot of them have never danced down south because there's no way. They would have been got their ass whooped. They would have been got their ass whooped, and whoever whooped their ass would have paid that fine and been right back dancing the next week or the next day. I'm just being honest. Again, I'm not condoning violence. I'm just really being honest and transparent. Y'all know that when you come to my page, I'm not gonna sugarcoat, and I'm not gonna do a little a kiki. I'm trying to make this friendly, viewer friendly. No, like, I'm gonna tell you how it is. And that is dead why I feel like a lot of people move the way they move up here. Now, as far as just in general, I think I'll make another video answering, because I did a question box and I let you guys ask me questions, and people actually had a lot more questions than I thought you all were going to have. So I'm going to make another video about just dancing in general, or I might even do a live and answer all of the questions that I got. Before I close this out, just really cool fact, I have actually met a couple of my subscribers in different clubs, actually a couple of different clubs up here, as well as when I was down south. I have met you guys and y'all have told me sometimes, you're like, oh my god, you're the reason I started dancing. I've had a couple of people tell me that, which is awesome. That's not my goal. I'm gonna be honest, that's not my goal. I don't want you to start dancing because you saw me say something and I was like your inspiration into that type of lifestyle, just because, again, not trying to demonize dancing, but it's just not something I want to necessarily glorify. I just want to be honest and transparent about my experiences, but I'm not trying to like reel y'all in or be like, okay, y'all do this too. So even though I'm very flattered when y'all tell me that, it's still just like I'm flattered, but I'm also like, oh, I hope you're doing this for the right reasons. But I have met a couple of my subscribers in the club and it's been cool. You guys have been a vibe every time I've met y'all. Everybody that I've met in the club that has been a subscriber has been super sweet. They've never been on no weird shit. Y'all always been mad cool. It is like funny when I end up in a club as somebody who watches me on YouTube and it's like, all right, girl, you see me shaking my ass, like, hey. I'll be like, damn, not my subscribers to see me shaking my ass. But you know, it comes with the territory. So I just want to say to anybody who I've met in the club that watches me on YouTube, thank you for being so just awesome, and y'all energy and your vibe is so cool when y'all come talk to me. Thank you for supporting my channel and watching me. We are on the road to 100K, you guys. I've decided I'm going to be consistent and we're going to hit a hundo. And hopefully we're going to hit it soon. I need to be back to where I was posting super consistently, because my follower count was going up super consistently and very fast when I was posting more. So we're going to get back on track. I think I'm gonna start doing more vlogs to let you guys in more to my life as far as dancing and stuff. And y'all can let me know if you like that. And also follow me on TikTok, because I do vlogs on TikTok with dancing and just in general, just living in New York. So yeah, so add me on those, you guys. I will see y'all in my next video. I hope that I've given some type of clarity as to dancing here versus other places. I will go more into depth when I do my next video, answering some more of you guys' questions. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.